Right over there, you got a stack of 20 graded Pokemon cards, and nowadays, honestly, friends, PSA graded returns are scarce, far, and few in between. So watch on to see exactly how well I did with these set of PSA graded returns. But first, roll that intro. Hey Gengar Gang, what is going on? My name is Ryan, this is the Analytic Gengar, and welcome to another video. In today's video, friends, the first 20 cards from my most recent PSA graded submission. In case you missed it, I did a video a few weeks back where I showed you a binder filled with 600 mostly holographic and ultra rare cards. Now, from that binder, I have begun the process of having some of those cards graded. And bear in mind, this was purchased a long time ago, and this set of cards was actually submitted way back in 2020. I didn't get it back until very early 2021. So honestly, this stuff has been sitting around in the house for quite a while, but I actually haven't taken a look at the grades because I did want to do the binder video first. So make sure to go check that binder video out in order to get a little bit better understanding of what's good with these cards, how they came to be in my possession, and why they are important. And then you can circle back and watch the first of the PSA graded returns. Now, as always, I will have prices for most, if not all, of the cards, but bear in mind prices are subject to change just based on, the way the market has behaved. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So the first card I have up today is a 2016 Generations Full Art Pikachu Radiant Collection. This got a near mint 8. Now the Radiant Collection was out of the Generation set, so this is the 20th anniversary set. Pretty relevant given that sooner or later we will be seeing a 25th anniversary set. And I mean, the reason I got this card graded, look at it, it's so pretty. There are some scratches, as you can see. My light is super bright, but you can definitely use that to see some of the scratches. But the back of this card was also just A1, so that's another one of the reasons why I really wanted to get this card graded. You can see that weird little chip in the corner, but other than that, the card really does look good. I do love this card. I think it's adorable, and I think given that we are now well on our way to the 25th anniversary of cards, these cards have begun to increase in value slowly but surely. Next up, I have a Meganium. And this Meganium got a near mint 8. Now, whenever it comes to these prime cards, the Heart Gold and Soul Silver era mimics the EX era in so much that these cards are incredibly difficult to grade. As you can see, there's nothing really special with the back of this card. For the most part, it looks exactly like any other Pokemon card. But when you come to the front of the card, the major issue is this major amount of holographic around the corners of the card. This makes these cards a pain in the neck to grade. And many people have already pointed out that these cards are, low population, to say the least. So there may come a time in the future when people begin to take a little bit more notice of those cards, purely based on the fact that they are incredibly low population and they come from an era of Pokemon that really is kind of odd. Keeping up with the theme of PSA 8s, we have a Full Art Mega Rayquaza EX from Roaring Skies. This also got, as I said, a near mint 8, and this card is super busy. So this is obviously when they were doing Mega Evolutions, and so that was included into the TCG. Obviously, that's since been replaced by VMAXs and all that other good stuff. You kind of get the idea that PSA 8s kind of have at least one little thing wrong with it. What I've always found is that it's incredibly difficult to get a good read on what's wrong with the front of this card, mainly because of all the texture, and obviously that's true today as it was back in 2015, but a neat little pickup from the XY era, which is why I thought to submit it. Next up, we have the Rayquaza EX. So this is just the regular quote-unquote version of the Pokemon, and another good-looking card. This is actually one of my favorite full art cards. And from Roaring Skies especially, I thought Roaring Skies was a really interesting XY set. You do have obviously the Full Art Skyla, but obviously they leaned in pretty heavily with the Rayquaza cards as well. And obviously Roaring Skies probably served as inspiration for the upcoming set that we have coming up in August of this year. Next up, we have a Ampharos Hollow. So this is another one of the prime cards from the Heart Gold Soul Silver era. Looking around, it's a really pretty card. I will say that I think they were like trying to do a little bit much, but I'm happy that I got a PSA 9. Immediately as I turn the card around, my eye immediately goes to this corner right here, but honestly, the card is in pretty decent condition all the way around. There's that one little like hiccup on the corner there, and I think that might be what caused this card to get a PSA 9, but all things considered, given that this card sat in a binder for quite some time, it's impressive that it even was able to get a 9 given how much holographic there is on the front of that card. Obviously, one of the things that the binder contained a lot of was prime cards, right? We've already seen a Meganium, an Ampharos. Here's the Donphan out of the same set, and again, got a PSA 9, so a really high grade. These cards are very, very pretty. They catch the eye very well. The back of this card, pretty clean. I see one little divot down here, and I think that's what got this card, but to think that the front of this card is good enough that it got a 9 and sat in a binder for as long as it did, in my mind, is kind of bewildering, and at a minimum is pretty neat. Next up is a Undaunted Houndoom holo. So obviously prime cards were not just relegated to one set, they came from all the different sets, and this Houndoom is a pretty good example of that. Houndoom's a pretty popular Pokemon. I just wanted to take a moment to appreciate the holographic. There you go. And we even have what looks like the tail end of a swirl. So it's a really pretty card. I really enjoy these cards because I think they're about as close as we'll get. As you can see, this card is pretty rough there. So it got a 7. Obviously, there's a reason why it got a 7. It certainly doesn't come anywhere near as close as the other cards did, but for the most part, it's still a pretty card. I still like it, and I think it obviously is a card that has seen quite a bit of appreciation. Shockingly enough, for a binder, I was able to get PSA 10s, and of course, it would have to be an EX era card. So this is the Destiny Deoxys card, and it got a Gem Mint 10. A couple of reasons why I think it did. Obviously, not really much wrong with the back. There's a teeny tiny little, I don't even know if it'll come up on the camera, and anything else that you're seeing is likely on the case. Yeah, I was able to wipe that away. So realistically, the only thing that probably needed to be dealt with on this card was the holographic, of which there is none, believe it or not. The only thing holographic is the stamping right here, and so that probably helped that card get the grade that it did. Surprisingly enough, however, I was able to get another PSA 10. I was able to get this reverse foil Hypno, Dark Hypno from EX Team Rocket Returns as a Gem Mint 10. And just to show you guys how cool these old school reverse holos are, you can see that the holographic is basically every energy that they had at the time. So these are really, really pretty and distinct cards, and obviously the holographic is, as you can see by my light, basically pristine. So I think that really helped the cause with this particular card. Centering might have been slightly off, but not obviously enough to cause it to go down a grade. And obviously the card itself is just a beautiful, beautiful card. Really captures that EX Team Rocket Returns vibe and aesthetic that they were going for with like the corrupted Pokemon. Of course, we did have another EX era card, and that is a Mew Holo. It's a Black Star promo. Unfortunately, I wasn't lucky enough to get one that had a swirl on it. This promo is pretty neat. The Mew is absolutely adorable, so I love it. I think it's really cute. Honestly, the 3 EX cards will probably stay in my collection. I haven't really decided yet, because obviously, if I can generate enough value that it basically covers all of the costs to me so far, obviously I can take the 3 EX cards because that's kind of my gimmick, and then I can, basically get them for free, which would be pretty neat. That is how you go about building a collection that doesn't cost you $1 million and an arm and a leg. Next up is this Radiant Collection Mega Gardevoir EX. I like this one because it had both a regular and a shiny Gardevoir in it, so it was really pretty. And again, it's a Radiant Collection card, which is basically the subset within the 20th set, within the 20th anniversary set of generations. So obviously they are slowly but surely ticking up in value, and I think that'll be pretty cool. Now here is a card that you really got to take a minute to appreciate. This is a black and white Meowetta EX Legendary Treasures Radiant Collection. So I recently found out that the Radiant Collection wasn't just a Generations thing. Obviously, they also had Radiant Collections across the board, and when I first saw this card, I thought it was fake. But after doing some research, I realized it wasn't, and as you can see, really good looking card. Unfortunate that it didn't get a 10. I think this little corner right here may have been the cause for that. You can see as it's focusing in there. So I think there's a little bit of excess on that corner, and that's what dinged this card. But otherwise, personally, a really pretty card and really unique with the way they went about doing that Radiant Collections for Legendary Treasures. So obviously, I've really come to appreciate those little things about the black and white era. Low-key, a really cool era given how many weird little quirky things exist. Next up, as you can see on screen, a Gem Mint 10 EX Team Rocket returns Dark Raticate. And again, the Dark Raticate is the reverse foil variant, so as you can see, you have those holographics really just jumping all over the place on you. Simply beautiful, beautiful cards. I wish that the Pokemon were more popular Pokemon, but to have two Gem Mint 10s graded, and again, this stuff sat in a binder, really, really cool, really, really impressive, and I'm hoping something that can generate either some value for my collection or can get added into my collection, since I am a fan of the era. Keeping up with the Generations theme, it seems like that particular binder had a lot of it in it, but here is a Flareon EX from the Radiant collection, and this is an adorable card. Now, it's ironic because obviously we have Eevee Heroes, or the English version of it, coming out, and I thought it was really pretty. So I kind of found it funny because as I thought about this return and what I was going to see in it, I realized this Flareon was in there. And what's actually pretty funny is that it doesn't, it seems like they have a pretty standard set of Pokemon that they push for anniversary years, including the evolutions. Not really a surprise, but I figured I'd mention it anyway. Next up, we have a Dark Slowking reverse foil. So this is another beautiful, beautiful card. This one unfortunately got a 9. And, I won't say it's the holographic, but I will probably immediately flip to the back of this and hope to find something to justify that grade. And unfortunately I can't, which means it's likely somewhere on this holographic, or they just said, hey, we gave out 2 10s, let's give out at least 1 9. But there you are with that beautiful, beautiful reverse holographic holo, and that's why a lot of people go after these cards nowadays. That's why that era is considered one of the best, given how beautiful some of these cards are. As you can see, here is a Dark Octillery, and this got a PSA 9. One thing to note, this is not the reverse foil, and you can tell it's not the reverse foil for 2 reasons. One, it's missing, it just has these boring little Cosmo foil bubbles, and then its name and HP are not in holo, which is another telltale sign, as well as the stamp on the card, which is another telltale sign that this is a reverse foil. So this one, I see that corner is a little white, and I think this corner down here by my thumb is also, yep, right there, is chipped enough that it justifies the grade that it got. Bad because there wasn't a lot of holo on that card, so in an ideal world, if the back was good, it probably would have gotten the PSA 10. Next up is a Gem Mint 10 Dark Muck, so I low-key think I have a little bit of a collection brewing for reverse holographic PSA 10s from EX Team Rocket Returns. One thing that I love about this card, and I will try to get it on screen right there, I do have a really nice swirl, which I'm beautifully in love with, and then on top of that, of course, you have the reverse holographic pattern. And this is what I was speaking about earlier. If you notice, the Dark Muck and the HP are also holographic, as you can see by the light, and then you also have the stamp, and the reverse pattern has changed. So all ways to tell that these are the reverse holographic holos and not the regular foil holographics. Keeping up with the Gem Mint 10s, amazingly, I was able to get this Dark Metal Energy, also graded a PSA 10, and this is another beautiful card. The cards like this really help you to see and show off that reverse holographic foiling. For the different sets, they actually move to different types of reverse foiling, but this is, in my opinion, one of the best because they simply went with the energies, and I think you know, nowadays, this looks so cool. You'll also notice the Team Rocket Returns logo is now in a silver color, but other than that, a beautiful card, and obviously a Gem Mint 10, so again, there's tons of reasons why I might be taking tons of these cards and just putting them into my own collection, because it's borderline impossible to find these types of cards out there at relatively affordable prices. Second to last is a Dark Houndoom. This is another EX Team Rocket Returns. Obviously, I'm going to have to obligatorily show you the reverse holographic foiling, and then other than that, let's flip to the back, and my suspicions are almost immediately confirmed. Right there, we've got a little bit of whitening on that edge, and that is likely the reason that this card got the grade that it did. But all things considered, still a beautiful card, and still not something you see every day. Finally, for today's video, we have this Jolteon from the Black and White Sylveon collection. This is a promo card, actually, and believe it or not, it is a holographic, but what I like about it is that it's a very subtle holographic. I don't even know, yeah, you can see the foil dancing on screen as I kind of move it back and forth, but other than that, you would think this was a regular Pokemon card with no holographic. But I love it because it's so pretty, Jolteon is so cute, and, I mean, I have a weird feeling. Yeah, right there. There's a bit of whitening. There's a bit of burring on that edge. And that is likely the reason that I got the grade that it did. The front of this card was, yeah, immaculate, but it did have a couple scratches here and there. So obviously I think it paid the price for it in the long run. But yeah, friends, that is today's PSA graded return. As always, thank you very much for checking out another video, stopping by and spending some time. As I always say, you could have been anywhere on the internet, but you chose to spend some time with me, and that means the world. I appreciate you stopping by, and if you learned something new, or if you saw a card that you liked today, make sure to leave a like on the video, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already to become a member of the Gengar Gang. Other than that, friends, make sure to go check out the binder video if you haven't, and of course, keep your eye peeled for more content coming out weekly. But with all that said, friends, thank you again for stopping by and checking out another video, and we will talk soon. Peace.